I'm restarting the recording now at 6:04
Okay,
p.m.
awesome. All right. Well, I'm glad you are all here. It is 6:04 and happy to see Barb down there and haven't seen Barb in a while. So welcome. Let's go ahead and call the meeting to order 6:04 p.m. And I think I'm the minute taker. So I was talking to Ethan about it. I said, I think with Zoom recording, I'm, doing the highlights. So that is the plan. Um, so let's start out. Oh, and does everyone remember meeting Ethan at probably Barb is the only one. I don't know, Barb, were you there when Ethan is a new planning staff? Barb, you're on mute, I think. Barb, you're muted.
I think the last meeting I was at, he came to. But
Okay.
anyway, nice to meet you, Ethan.
Nice to meet you all too.
Yeah. So Ethan, I think will be joining us as our
Yes, yeah.
staff.
Yeah, I'll be stepping in as staff liaison for the Housing Advisory Board.
Yay.
And I'm currently, just as a recap, started beginning of November, I'm a planner too with the planning department.
Cool. Excited. We're glad you're here. All right. I don't think we have capability. Guests don't join on these type of meetings, do they? Or can they?
We can promote them if you'd like me to. I also have Amy in the attendees as well. I'm promoting to a panelist.
Okay. So yeah, Amy should be joining. And then I don't think there's probably anybody else.
Nope.
Okay. So you can bring Amy in. And we will proceed with the agenda. So um, I did you all I don't know if you received a packet, and I don't necessarily see that at least what I'm looking, if the minutes got uploaded.
I was talking with Chelsea about this too through our transition. If it is okay with you, we're gonna bring them to the next meeting. We have a new part-time planning and part-time HR clerk who's gonna help us just go through with some of those formatting questions you had. I'm gonna help make them look good and then bring them to the next meeting.
Okay. Excellent. I appreciate that. So we will, I don't know what the language is, but we will postpone the approval of minutes until the next meeting. I don't think I need a vote for that, do I?
I'll second it, just in case.
Do we need a vote on that? Yes. All right. So all in favor of approving to move all so to be, I think it's December and January, and then it would be this meeting minutes until our March meeting. Say aye.
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 Aye, aye, aye. Any no's? Awesome. Thank you. All right. No public comment. Any
Real quick, Allison, I do have to cut out at 7, so I just wanted to let you know up front.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Okay. And then we will move on, I guess. I don't really have new business, so we're just old business with the energy efficiency program. Item 1. Aaliyah, you should be able to share.
Okay.
Because you're a panelist.
All right. Great. Yeah. So let me see, maybe I'll start. So, we've had this program up for a couple of years, and one thing I realized that we haven't had for a couple months is an update on if there is any activity. But I'm guessing, Hannah, that there hasn't been any activity in the last few months.
No, we haven't gotten very many requests, if any.
Okay. So, I think what we wanted to talk about was what, if anything, what are the possible options that we could consider to try and increase the reach and the success of this program so that we can have support more people doing relevant upgrades in Manitou. And so, I have a few thoughts for us to consider. And here, maybe I can do a couple different things that we can look at. So I'll share this to start. You see a document that says 2024 Energy Efficiency Program?
Yes.
Okay, good, thanks. Okay, so one this is a note for us to for staff, is that the website does say that the program expired at the end of 2023. And I guess this is also a confirmation that this isn't the case, right? It still is an active program.
Yeah, we do have funding through 2024, so we can get that updated for sure. No problem.
Great.
I can probably do it right now, actually. Thank you for catching that.
Yeah. So kind of a couple of different buckets. I know we've talked about the kind of the payment mechanism in the past, and when we've talked about in the past, there really hasn't been any opportunity to adjust how that's done as a credit through the water bill. But I thought it was important to bring that back and kind of rehash that out and confirm that whether or not there is any ability to do something different there, because it did sound like that was something that some applicants had brought up as a concern about getting that credit on the water bill, and then also having to pay that use tax up front, even though they were going to get reimbursed for it. So maybe let me kind of I'll go through these handful of ideas, and then we can jump back into them and talk through them. So the other one is, and I have some proposed amounts, but increasing the incentives. I looked at CSU's incentive program for 2024, and because we kind of established our incentives based on CSU's program 2 years ago, and they have substantially increased their incentives as well, which is a good thing. And so that certainly is a way to consider trying to get more people to be engaged. The other one that's come up in the past is, there was somebody that had put in a high efficiency gas heating system, and the gas heating systems, we didn't have those as eligible products on our list, only heat pumps. And so we could talk about whether we want to include that. And then when we created the program, we talked about so there's energy efficiency measures and then water efficiency measures. And one of the water efficiency measures that we kind of conceived of was some incentives for drought tolerant landscape development. And that was it was more complex to figure out how that would work within the program. And there wasn't, CSU doesn't have a model for that. We did find some other models in other places in Colorado. And so I'm confident we could come up with a good program there. It just, I think, required a little more time than we had when we were getting this set up. But, with spring coming up, that could be a good incentive to offer to people as they're beginning to revamp their landscaping. And then the last thing is just if there's anything else that we can do with advertising. And there was a lot that was done last year, and that was great. And maybe there's some more creative ideas about what we can do. So I will pause and hear what feedback others have.
Yeah, I really like the idea of kind of shifting or spreading, I guess, to like the drought tolerant landscaping. I think that's a really neat idea. Kind of when you brought this up, one of my first thoughts was what are like the left and right limits of what the money can be used for. So I think kind of getting a little more creative is a great idea.
Mm-hmm. Thanks. And maybe I'll just pop up this that has for us all to be reminded of what we are offering rebates for now. So these are all the water efficiency rebates. There's irrigation items, and then inside the house, toilets and shower heads. And then these colored ones are items that we're not currently offering incentives for. But so we have the heat pump water heater, heat pump space heater, attic insulation, wall insulation. Yeah.
So Leah, that you said the ones that are sort of like pinkish, they're the ones we're not offering incentive for.
Yeah. So this was a table we'd looked at a couple
Yeah.
years ago, and I updated this based on CSU's current 2024 incentives. These are our current incentives. So for natural gas storage water heaters, right? We're not offering anything. And these, these are placeholders. This would just kind of start a conversation, right? And so if we wanted to incentivize gas equipment, then, there are, so you see like CSU for water heaters, they'll give you $750 if you install a heat pump water heater, and just $100 if you do a gas water heater. So the incentives for the gas equipment are much lower, but they still offer something there.
Got it.
I mean, I don't know if, honestly, I don't think if we offer $50, it would really do anything for a water heater, but.
Did you scroll back up?
No, go ahead. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Aaliyah, could I say something?
Please, Nancy.
Couple things. One is that the city is looking to get new water meters, which I'm just looking at how to market this all together. And one thing is we're looking for new water meters because ours are at the end of their life cycle. And secondly, the city also offers vouchers for trees to plant in the landscape. So to me, those three things, what you're offering here, the tree rebate or the tree voucher and the potential new water meters kind of all go together. And, if you're advertising, that might be a way to kind of market stuff is advertising how sensitive our water situation is here in Manitou. We just approved a couple of agreements with CSU last week or the week before on, if we have to buy water from CSU, if we don't have enough. So that all those things kind of go together in my mind.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Kind of the suite of offerings that demonstrates that, there really is a need. Yeah.
I like the idea of duplicating what CSU has. Just across the board, if we can.
Mm-hmm.
It seems simple. It seems logical in terms of the incentives. Obviously somebody puts in a heat pump, that would be a bigger rebate, but it does encourage people, if they are going with gas, to take a look at how to do it more efficiently.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if we do we know what our balance is for this program right now?
Right now we're at the full 10,000.
Oh, we are. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
I'm sorry, Aaliyah. Do you know how many people, individuals or households have participated in the rebates? And like that average kind of rebate they've received?
than like 3, Hannah?
That's a good question. I know we pulled those numbers a few months ago. Let me just make sure that there hasn't been any since then, and then I'd be happy to send an email to the HAB with the final count.
That's great. Yeah.
Because I'm just thinking, like, I totally agree with both Nancy and Barb about like their ideas. And so I think just trying to balance out how many people do we think will, like, if we have, 50 people come in with a $750 rebate, then we might be in a problem. So, like, just kind of looking at what people have turned in before and what do we guess that they might do. And maybe like with Nancy's point about how to market it of, these are things that will affect our water, like maybe prioritizing those with the advertisement.
Yeah, I will say what I do recall is that the folks who did come in had the bigger ticket items. Uh, the the ones where they were already having to stretch their budget to have installed. I don't know if we got very many smaller items like replacing faucets or toilets or something, but I'll double check. But that's what I recall.
Yeah, that would make total sense. You're probably not going to go through all of it for $4 or something.
I'm not sure who was first, but I have Amy and Michael with their hands up.
Yeah, I think I was first, so I'll go ahead.
Okay.
I don't know if this falls within, but I don't remember who brought up the buying trees rebate through another program. But would it be possible to do rebates for like xeriscaping or purchasing like indigenous plants for your yard that require less water overall?
Mm-hmm.
And if not, maybe that would be, and okay, so that is what that drought tolerant landscaping is. Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the idea. We could make it what it is. A couple of years back we reviewed, I think it was maybe Boulder or Fort Collins that had a program, maybe one other. And I mean that was the intent. You had to you'd be installing I'm not sure if either of them had a requirement for native, but low water, drought tolerant plants. And so we just need to kind of figure out like, yeah, what's the criteria that we want to place here, and how does that flow through to the kind of verification implementation piece for the city's perspective.
Got it.
I know personally we would love to participate in that. So
cool. All right, Amy.
Hi, thank you for putting this together, Aaliyah. It looks amazing, and I love the xeriscape ideas as well that Michael was saying. I love how you compared CSU, and I was just wondering if we could take that a bit further and ask them what is the biggest portion that they've rebated? Has it been gas? Has it been water pumps? Has it been, whatever data they could or are willing to share with us would be amazing. Also, what advertising worked best for them? Was it on Facebook or was it in the BSB, the Indy, whatever, the Gazette, or, what was their biggest successes? And because when you did this other column, I was like, oh, we could, I think we might know somebody that works over there now.
Yeah.
Communication.
That's
oh.
That's a great question, Amy. And actually, I forgot about this until right now, but 2 years ago, they sent us details, some level of detail, like a summary of the incentives that they had issued to Manitou residents. And I don't remember what it looked like, but I will try and find it, and we could reach out to them again with to see what has changed.
Cool. All right. Barb? Can't hear you.
Let's see. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, good. So given we've never run out of money, but don't we have a disclaimer saying that, the funds are there until they aren't? So it's kind of first come, first serve. And so I guess I wouldn't worry about a big rush of people since we haven't yet really used it all up. But that was just my thought on the amounts.
Yeah, and one of the things we talked a couple of years ago, we had talked about like, yeah, do we try and set this up so that we get a lot of people getting a little bit of money or a few people getting a lot? And we lean towards thinking that it'd be most successful if a few people got a lot. And I think kind of based on what Hannah was saying, that what we have seen, that matches, that people aren't coming in for these $25, $50 incentives, but when they have bigger ticket items. Yeah.
I have a question. I don't know if it's ethical or what, is there a way, can we like target people in a good way? Like people that we notice their water bills are really high. I mean, for like single families, is that an allowable thing or is that a unethical privacy thing as a city?
That might be walking a privacy line, but I can check into it.
Okay. I was just sort of thinking like maybe some people don't even realize
right.
realize that and could be like, oh shoot, if I had a XYZ or this or that, maybe I could reduce some way.
Mm-hmm. So
Again,
yeah, I like it. I found what CSU sent us, and these are from it looks like 2019 through 2021. They sent us this in early 2022, so I think these are probably largely through 2021, and just Manitou. And there's not too many. Most of them were like appliances, which they don't have these rebates anymore for dryers or refrigerators, and then furnaces. This also was, I think, before, it was probably around this time frame where they shifted their strategy to incentivizing heat pumps more and gas equipment less. A couple thermostats, there's air sealing. Back in 2017, I took advantage of their insulation and air sealing rebate.
Aaliyah, have you noticed a difference in your bill?
Yeah, when it happened, well, I noticed a big difference in comfort was the big thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. I don't know. Those can be like good advertising things too. Like in that, I know you did a energy efficient article, but again, just another, and not everyone reads the bulletin. So we clearly need other ways to message, but. All right. So what was our action item? We wanted to try to narrow things down, or we wanted to just clarify.
Yeah, and Michael has his hand up. I think it might be a new hand.
Okay, sorry.
New hand.
Michael, go for it.
When you mentioned targeting people, that made me wonder if we can target some of maybe like the restaurants in town. I'm sure they use like ginormous dishwashers that use a ton of water. Then I'm sure there's also like more efficient ones and not. I don't know if that's something we could look into as well.
Yeah, so I mean, right now this has been residential focused. Part leaks, that's been our focus, right? It's a housing board.
Oh yeah, I guess.
That's a good.
Yeah. I don't know. We'd probably need those are also bigger ticket items. I don't know. We'd have to
Yeah.
look at what would make sense for different building types.
No, that's a good point, Michael.
Thanks.
Hannah.
I think expanding one thing that the HAB could look into. I know it's a housing advisory board, but I do know that, as Michael pointed out, that there are commercial businesses that struggle with the efficiency of their building as a whole. I mean, Manitou is full of very old buildings, and they're limited to some extent by historic preservation regulations and how efficient their windows can be. So maybe instead of this might be another way that they can help reduce their energy consumption is through more efficient appliances, toilets, sinks, things of that nature. So that's something that I have gotten questions from commercial business owners about the rebate program. But at the time it was very residential focused. So if that's desired by the Housing Advisory Board, I know that there are commercial businesses that would be interested, but they would be, my understanding based on the few conversations I've had is largely replacing toilets, or sinks and things like that. But that doesn't necessarily mean that dishwashers can also be in the scope. So that's something else the HAB can consider.
Yeah, could we, I mean, one thought is we could expand, some of these that would apply to businesses as well, like the water, related to water to businesses.
I don't know, what are people's thoughts? Michael, is your hand up for that? Or is it for another thing, or was that up from last
It's
time?
up on accident.
Okay, that's all right. And if I'm missing anyone, I gotta like scroll in here.
My hand's up.
Yeah.
Whose hand is up?
Barbie.
Barbie, go for it.
So I like the idea of maybe expanding it to some of the older commercial businesses as far as increasing efficiency overall. But the first thing my hand was up for was around water monitoring. I know the city of Phoenix has a very sophisticated water monitoring program at this point. And so it is possible. I had a friend from Phoenix visiting me when she got a text from Phoenix saying, suddenly your water is spiked. And she did. She had a leak in an exterior spigot. So was able to get a neighbor over there to, take care of it right away. So there are ways maybe in the new water system or metering that Manitou will set up. Maybe that's at least one way. You don't have to say, hey, we think you ought to take care of all of this because you're not efficient. But it could be, by the way, your water usage is above average and there might be some things we could help with.
Oh yeah, I like that. And that might be beyond HAB, but I like the idea.
Yeah, I was just a thought having to do with targeting of water usage.
For sure. Nancy?
Whereas I think it's a wonderful idea to support the businesses because they pay for most everything in Manitou through sales tax and property taxes anyway. However, I would have to echo what Hannah first said, is that you guys are the Housing Advisory Board, and I fear that supporting the businesses might be a little out of your, might represent some mission creep in what you're supposed to do. So I would recommend that if you might want to talk with Public Works, and also perhaps put it in when you brief in November to council, is to ask council then if they will approve it, because I just don't want you guys getting in trouble with council for getting outside.
Right. Yeah.
I do think it's a great idea, and there's probably a way to do it, but I don't know that you guys are the ones to do it. That's all.
Yeah, and we've brought up before, like trying to, and I've actually tried to call them a few times this week and I haven't got anybody, but like our larger kind of apartment places, like the Barker House, or I don't know if it has a name, the one that sort of sits by Soda Springs Park, kind of by the swings. I don't know. Anyway, I think there's a couple like residential, like multi household units that potentially could be a target to be like, hey, what if you replaced a bunch of things and then could benefit from a credit?
Another option is I'm trying to get you guys set up with the Historic Preservation Commission as well. And I've talked with Doug Edmondson, not realizing that he was no longer chair of the Housing or the Historic Preservation Commission, but they could run a similar program and ask money for historic buildings in the historic district to do energy efficiency stuff, I would think. Hannah, you would know better than I would, but it seems like they might be able to run something of a parallel program using this one as a prototype.
Right. The HPC does have a mini grant program already. But it's also, the HPC has like 4 different account lines that they rebate money out of, depending on the type of project. So part of me wonders if we should just consolidate, if we're going to do an energy rebate program, let's just consolidate the program to include anybody and everybody, and here's everything, versus, oh no, this is a historic one, let's go to HPC. Oh, this is residential, let's go to HAB. That's just my opinion right now. It might muddy the waters, but I think overall an energy rebate program's great. I think there's a lot of potential for it. And I think there is a need for commercial businesses too, but I hear what you're saying. I think one umbrella program is a really good idea. I'm not sure who would be in charge of it.
All right, well, we've probably been talking about this for 30 minutes. Where do we think we are? So these were,
Yeah,
up here, the considerations.
So I guess the one other thing I wanted to touch on is the use tax and the payment processing. This came up with, I mean, probably sometime last year, and Chelsea was going to confirm that we were in fact rebating the use tax, and it does say on the website that that is part of the rebate that somebody is issued. And so Hannah, do you know, and maybe, you know, if you can go back and check and follow up, that's fine, but just to confirm if we are providing the use tax as part of the rebate.
We should be. I'll make sure that the last few we got if I remember correctly, we got like 5 or 6 bigger ticket items, and I believe the use tax was part of it. Because I remember this coming up and we looked into it. But when I'm pulling the numbers, just to make sure I'm not missing one in between that last count and this one, I'll double check if the use tax, if there was an additional one, was rebated too.
Yeah. Okay. And then is there any other mechanism for the city to provide these type of rebates other than, you know, requiring somebody pay the use tax and then giving them a credit for that and the rest of the rebate through the water bill?
I do, if I may jump in.
Please.
I do recall, sorry, I just keep having vague memories of having conversations, but not the specific content of the conversation. I do recall us looking into this a little while ago, and there was a specific reason why we couldn't just cut checks to a specific person. Let me go back into my emails and find out what that was.
Okay. Yeah.
Not to say that there isn't another method, but I think we looked into if we could just mail a check.
Right. Yes. I know we did. And I know you did. And I just wanted to bring this up again because it's been a little time and see if there are any new opportunities or if that still is a stumbling block, because I know this was something that we had heard people say was challenging.
Yeah, I do remember, Leah, we had talked that some of the challenge would be like a landlord who would be paying for the product doesn't have their name on the water bill. So the tenant would get the rebate, not the landlord who paid for it. So I think that was some of the where we were saying like, yeah, what if again a tenant wanted to or a landlord wanted to do that to reduce cost for them, but
yeah. Okay, so then in terms of kind of these other three options here, I mean, I think I heard we didn't talk about specifics here, but I heard general support for this from some and support for this, and I'm not sure if we talked about this. What do we all think about kind of these changes to the program?
I'll go ahead and speak. I think that we should, before we make any more decisions about increasing or adding like Xeriscape, maybe we should I really like the umbrella idea of maybe bringing in the preservation and other powers that be for some of the older commercial buildings as well. I like that. I kind of do have a tendency to think that it needs to be an older building to get this kind of rebate. I don't know if there needs to be a cutoff year or something, but I would hate to see, I really want it to go to energy efficiency, right? And we don't have $10,000 seems like a lot, but it's when you start doing those bigger ticket items, and if it does go to commercial, that's going to eat it up. And then I don't want any PR that's like, oh, this business, I don't want to even put that out there, but I think we need to be mindful of, just kind of any kind of backlash. And I think an umbrella program can alleviate a lot of that. And we're working collaboratively together.
So what I heard from, well, the good recommendation that Nancy said is that like if we're using these funds, which council approved to us to use for a residential program, we probably shouldn't shift that without getting approval from council. And the idea of an umbrella program probably would require additional funds, being allocated to a program, either through us or through some other avenue to support different building types. So, we could, I think that we could make some small and easy changes to our program now, which, and see what happens. And if we want to, in parallel, we can look into kind of more broadening the program and some of these other kind of partnerships that have been brought up. That's my sense.
Yeah, I think that sounds appropriate to focus on like the small and easy changes now, which are increasing the incentive amounts, as you said, right? And what else? What were the other things? Do we want to add like new items like the drought tolerant landscaping?
Yeah, so these both would be new items. I think, if we wanted to add this, that'd be really easy. We already have the specs because it would be following what CSU does, just like the other equipment.
Okay.
So we could do that right away. This would require some research investigating the other programs, I think, to learn, how they do things and best practices and develop. I think we'd want to kind of develop a proposal and then bring it back to HAB and the city. I think the key thing here will be the city's feedback and how this will be verified and confirmed, because it with the program now, it's basically just like follow the, there's all of the prerequisite and the requirements are established by CSU, and they're really well laid out, and I think it's pretty straightforward. Correct me if I'm wrong, Hannah, but I think this would maybe require a little more a little more thoughtfulness to make sure that it's in that, you know, we set it up so that it's ensuring the intent that we have, but isn't too onerous to verify. Barb.
I agree. I think, you know, an ultimate goal of maybe being collaborative with an umbrella type program, maybe look at housing that is commercial housing as opposed to some other businesses might keep it more within the purview of housing. But for right now, it makes sense to duplicate what CSU is doing and maybe explore the idea of the drought resistant landscaping, but drought tolerant landscaping. But we don't have that sounds kind of like it could be complicated. I'm not a gardener. Maybe that's why it sounds that way, but I'd keep it simple for right now. But I like the idea of, you know, being consistent with what CSU is doing.
So it sounds like putting the drought tolerant kind of to the side to look into a deeper scope. Is there doesn't Manitou, do we have is there like I don't know what it is, landscaping group, do we have someone like that, like a board that does that work, that does like environmental goodness?
I'll jump in. We do have some city arborists under public services or public works that may be able to provide some insight. Okay. I also put a note down. Erin, our other planner too, is a licensed landscape architect. So I'll touch base with her when she has a sec to see if she has any recommendations for areas to do further research in. She may have some info there.
Yeah, just curious how we would verify that, or we wouldn't want to put, like we said, a lot of onus on like code or somebody going out and having to like confirm or.
Yes, I think that can definitely get pretty onerous. Yes. I think that from my imagination, I think if there is already an entity that is representative of drought tolerant landscape in general and has done that research, if they've already identified and created a list of those plants that meet that qualification, we can also look back into our code as well to kind of cross-reference. But that's what I would hope for, is that list already exists.
Great.
Yeah, I can say that we do have a list of desired plant species in Manitou Springs that was developed a little while ago. I don't know how drought tolerant it is, but it is a list of native species at least.
Do you know who put that together? Was that like the city staff?
Or wherever you can find it.
Karen.
So 2 questions: who put it together and where would someone find that?
Yeah, so I'll have to look into who put it together. I know that we found it when we were doing the code update because we wanted to make sure that we were supporting plantings that made sense in our current climate. And where we can find it, I believe we uploaded it to the website. Let me just look for it.
Awesome. I think it's the hazard mitigation stuff, Hannah.
Oh, okay.
That was put together several years ago when Karen was still in the planning department. She worked with the Garden Club, I think, and we had a sustainability work group at that time that was more active in coordination with the city, and I think that they assisted as well.
Cool.
I just found this Colorado website. Well, actually, it's Boulder Green, but then they have Colorado turf replacement programs of 2024, and this looks familiar, except it wasn't 2024. We looked at this a couple years ago, and now there's 20 cities in Colorado that are listed with different types of programs, and so this will be a good resource to see how other cities do it.
Yeah,
Aurora has a great policy on that, Aaliyah.
Okay, yep, they're here.
So from my understanding, tonight we can implement as a group to update our rebates to match CSUs?
Yeah, let me pull that up again. So currently all the water efficiency rebates do match everything on for CSU. Except we have we actually have two extra ones, a water scent certified toilet and a shower head, and those are already in place.
Okay.
And then so these are our current incentives, and these are CSU's incentives. So we could just across the board just apply all these. We could, use the max here for insulation and apply these same rebates and see what happens. Is there support for that?
I don't know. Some of them are so high. We said we'd lose
Hannah,
our...
do you foresee any problems with that?
Who are you asking that of, Amy?
Hannah.
Oh, Hannah.
With implementing matching CSU's rebate, no, I don't see an issue with that. We'll implement whatever the board decides it's best for the program. It's not going to be hard to shift how much money we're giving back to folks, so it wouldn't be a huge burden on staff.
I will say that like we have done a lot of advertising, even like last month it was in the bulletin, and we've done a lot of stuff on Facebook, and I'm all about updating to the CSU 2024 numbers. I would like to talk to their communications person over there and ask them how do they get eyeballs, or where are they seeing movement, and copying that a bit. Nancy has her hand up.
Nancy, you're on mute.
Nancy.
Darn, you'd think I'd know by now. Back when CSU first implemented, or early on when they implemented their rebate program, they actually went to the big box stores and the stores selling appliances and coordinated with them to have their salespeople aware of it. And they actually had the forms buy some of the larger appliances. So if CSU is still doing anything like that, they might agree to partner with us and allow us to co-advertise with them or co-market with them, whatever the correct term is.
Yeah, that could be, if any of for these stuff in particular.
Yeah.
Be, occupant purchased. Another, maybe contractors too. I mean, because these are going to be contractor installed.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's feasible. There's a few contractors. I mean, there definitely are some contractors that work a lot in Manitou. There's certainly a lot of contractors that work in Manitou too.
I know that Pikes Peak Regional Building Department, one, has a list of all licensed contractors in the area. If you reach out to them, they may be able to pull some information on contractors who have recently been doing jobs within Manitou. That would definitely be an ask. I don't know if they can do that, but I know that at the very least, they have a list of all licensed contractors in the area.
That's cool.
Great. Crystal?
I guess this is I think it's really smart, Amy's suggestions of checking in, and Nancy's with CSU as well. But I'm wondering if we have trying to keep in mind what Amy had said earlier about wanting to make sure that this is going to some of the older buildings. And I thought of Brothers Redevelopment that goes in to assist low income elderly people. And I wondered do we have any idea of how many of those people are in Manitou that might be helpful for?
Yeah. So the first iteration of this program actually was implemented by Brothers Redevelopment. And they were a partner, and so we kind of did a pilot program with them where they went into, it was 3 different homes and did kind of insulation equipment installs. And then the next year they decided, they said it was, you know, kind of resource bandwidth issue that they couldn't continue that program and manage it. And so we shifted over to this style here. And so that was kind of more of like a home performance based thing where like were going in and doing a suite of things on very old homes to really make them more comfortable and bring them up to efficiency standards. And so I think, you know, I think it'd be great to reach out to them again. We haven't for a couple of years. And so they, you know, they might have, yeah, they might be able to advertise this on projects that they're working on. I mean, they were aware of this back then, but they, you know, people, who knows who's there now. It'd be great to re-engage with them.
Well, and then we also have the Energy Resource Center. That's a nonprofit that they might, because they do a lot of work with low income households. And so that might be another agency for us to reach out to kind of maybe see if we could do some co-advertisement in the idea of trying to maintain or increase that habitability along with the Prop 123.
Sure. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, Howard Brooks over at the ERC. So they actually, Four Brothers Redevelopment, I think they actually did the projects through our pilot program. And he's been a great resource, as you know, throughout the years as we've conceived of this, and he's been aware of it. But again, I think it's been probably he actually was the one who kind of put this idea in my head of, why don't you just mimic CSU's program to make it really easy for the city to implement that after Brothers Redevelopment stepped out. And he was like, just do that. Don't make it too confusing. And then you can actually get something on the books. But I haven't talked with him since 2022. So yeah, I love it. Let's reach out to both of them again. And especially if we end up making some changes, it can be like, hey, we have this program anew this year. We've made some changes. We've increased the incentives. And, you know, in terms of advertising, you know, maybe Amy, can we bring you into those conversations? And, you know, could we do some co-advertising or something? Or do you just have, you know, can you just advertise this on your projects, or are you doing a lot of work in Manitou right now? If so, you know, here's an opportunity.
I loved what Nancy said about going to where people are actually purchasing the things, because to me, that's where you're crunching the numbers. You're not crunching the numbers when you're perusing through the bulletin. You know, you're crunching the numbers at, you know, Home Depot or Lowe's or Olson. You know, that's when you're like, oh, okay, so I'll save how much, you know. And maybe it's not advertising so much as it is an info piece of talking to the ERC and the brothers and the furnace companies. I don't know what they are off the top of my head, but I like what Ethan was saying about getting that list and maybe even just going through the top 3, you know, or talking to CSU and saying, like, when you have a customer that does do this, what commercial entity are they using typically? Let's just send them an email that says, hey, we just want to let your customers know that Manitou now matches all CSU rebates. Thank you very much. You know, that's a templated email to, and I love that, like, just match it. Easy
Right.
peasy.
Great way to.
Yeah, and I love the idea that Nancy had of going to CSU and saying, hey, if you guys are still putting this at those big box retailers, can you stick our, you know, the Manitou info on there too?
Yeah.
Hopefully that would be cheap and easy.
Was I hearing that Amy wanted to call CSU marketing person? That's what you said. You wanted to reach out.
Isn't that Alex though now?
I don't know. Did he go to CSU? That's what I thought you were alluding to, but
Is Hannah still here? Shoot.
Alex did go over to CSU Communications. Yes, I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure of what his focus is. But yes, he did. He is over at CSU Communications now.
All right. So, Aaliyah, how much help do you need on this? Because it sounds like there's some calls that need to be made and some.
Well, do we want to vote on increasing the rebates to match CSU now? And then the next step would be, you know, now that we have this change in place, we can reach out to these various entities, let them know that, and talk about how we collaborate. Should we do that before Michael has to leave?
Sure.
I was just going to say that. Thank you, Leah.
Yes. So, all right. May I get a motion to approve the matching of rebates from CSU addition to our current chart?
I motion to increase our current rebate levels to match the CSU 2024 rebate levels.
Can I get a second?
Second.
Awesome. That was, and then all in favor? Yes, aye. Any
Aye.
nays? No nays. Everyone said yes. So awesome. So that was approved. And then any other votes that need done, Ellie, on that?
I don't think so. Yeah, I think maybe it's just coordinating on a few next steps.
Yep. Sounds good.
So I'm happy to reach out to ERC and Brothers Redevelopment because I have existing relationships there, and we'll start a conversation with them anew. And so Amy, did you or did you not want to reach out to CSU?
No, I'll reach out to Alex.
Cool.
Okay.
I'll
Thanks,
start
everyone.
there.
Have a good night.
Bye, Michael. Thank you.
Okay.
I can start there. I do have a favor. Like I've finished my article through March. But April is my like heavy month. Because in May, at the beginning of May, I will be graduating, hopefully. Does anyone have an article idea or a rough draft or anything that they would want to do for March? Because I would say this, but we just did this. Like it just came out on the 8th of this month. So if there's any ideas, speak now, please.
So for April.
Yeah, it would be for April, but it's due March 8th. No, I'm sorry. April 8th.
So related to an energy efficient topic, or you're just saying
no, just
okay.
HAB. So we've done basically membership, we've done EE energy efficiency. Sorry, it's getting late. And then the latest one is just kind of like why affordable housing is important, and it paints a story of a likely story. It's pretty generic, but I think powerful, but I'm running out of ideas, to be honest.
All right. Can we, Amy, just table that and let's just finish Aaliyah on anything else on the energy efficiency that we need to action item? So you're going to follow up with Brothers and Powered Brooks. Amy's going to check in with CSU. Was there anything else? Did you want me to
I think
look
the
into
other
regional building or
yeah, sure. Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
I'll see what they'll tell me.
The other one was starting to do some research on the drought tolerant landscaping program. And so I can, maybe we could pick, I can share this website. or, you know, I'll send it to staff to share. And there's, you know, maybe we try and pick, maybe if people want to volunteer to kind of look at a couple, if we can kind of identify some really successful programs, like Nancy, thanks for saying Aurora. So we should look at Aurora and maybe a couple others if we can. Maybe I can go through this list and see, there's a summary of all of them, which is really nice, and maybe it kind of gives us an indication of which ones might be good to review, applicable for Manitou.
Did Michael say he was interested? I'm not like throwing him under the bus because he's not here, but I felt like he was expressing some interest in that. I don't know. We can ask him, and it's no pressure on him. This is being recorded, Michael. I'm not putting pressure on you. I'm just thought maybe he had expressed some interest. So I'm just going to pencil his name in and confirm with him. Okay. And when I send out the minutes, I'll do a quick follow-up on that confirmation. So, all right.
Okay.
Excellent.
I think that was it.
Thank you.
Everyone. Great.
All right. So Amy, on yours, I think where we can talk about that is I did want to, for the last, you know, we have this and then just a few other things, but to go over the Q1 charts. And I know last time we were having trouble because no one had the charts to like upload and look. And I honestly don't remember who was holding that. Those are Q1 like mapping, like where everyone had like little objectives.
Yeah, Michael was going to lead like updating that and keeping that kind of updated. So
okay,
that was my memory, I think.
All right. So I don't know. I had something. I mean, I know a lot of it was like I'm on like the Q1. A lot of it is my just education and kind of champion of, you know, getting opportunities and clarifications our way. So, I mean, I can just do a couple little updates and then we can put more focus on that for the next meeting once I get with Michael, and I can even send that out in the minutes or in, yeah, the updated chart. Does that work? Okay. So a couple little things I just found that I wanted to share were about education on the city of Colorado Springs. Let me see if I can share this if I've lost it now. They have a really cool like I don't know where it is. Maybe it's not here. Sorry, they had a really cool like infographic and I thought that I could share that. I shared it earlier with Ethan. I pulled it up. We were looking at it and now I've lost it. Let me see.
Allison,
I can attest it was there.
Oh, here it is. So let me see if I can find it. Now, oh, there it is. Share. Let's see. Do you guys see that? So this was just something I think we've talked a lot about. People have asked questions about like who has information on different you know, income statuses. This is actually, I thought it was kind of cool. I mean, it's not just Manitou though, it's El Paso and Teller County. So it's just showing the different income levels that sit throughout our, you know, greater community, and then areas of like need. And then like it talks about, again, I don't know if you guys can see this because my view of everyone is right in the way. Let's see. Keys to affordability versus attainability and different pockets of people. I know we talked about that Manitou, we had like a small version of this, and that maybe with some of the work with planning, they were going to try to see if this is something that we could get specifically for Manitou. I'm not sure if that's reasonable or achievable now, but I did at least like the layout of this, showing again the different income levels, and just wanted to share this with you. It's on the, this is where it sits. It's through the City of Colorado Springs Housing and Community Vitality. Crystal, I don't know if you know anything about it, but I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention that I like the graphic.
Allison, if you send that to me, I can get that sent out to the group as well.
Oh, cool. Okay. So there was that. And then I have had some conversations with people, and I'm hesitant. I'm not going to speak broadly right now, but I have had some people put some feelers out about projects in Manitou, which is pretty exciting. They reached out to planning, and then Hannah sent them my way. And it was pretty cool that people are really excited. A developer expressed excitement that Manitou opted in. And I learned some other things, like, I need to truly clarify, but it sounds like Manitou doesn't have any, we don't have any like low income specific housing, at least that I could find. The person that I spoke to asked me if I knew, and I did a little research on like LIHTC, which is like a low income housing criteria that builders try to get so that they can offer affordability to individuals. And when I did a search, 0 came up in Manitou. So that was exciting to this developer, because if there wasn't already a lot there, that could be a way, again, to just have lots of opportunities to get some support for a project. So it was really cool. It was a cool conversation. And again, nothing firm, but what I appreciated was the idea of the opting in was exciting to this person. So there, I'm going to leave that at that. And then what else did I want to share? I think those were the main things. Oh, and then I also learned, someone had also asked me about if we were to have housing vouchers, who do you go through? And it would go through the City of Colorado Springs, the Colorado Springs Housing Authority. There is the El Paso County Housing Authority, but they don't do anything with vouchers. They're, again, more like another funding stream opportunity, but not a holder of vouchers. So if a project wanted to try to get vouchers, they would work with the City of the Colorado Springs Housing Authority. So those are my updates. Any questions? Crystal, why are you laughing? Something, side note.
Yeah, I'm like, it's not anything I think I can say out loud right now.
Okay, awesome.
But all that's right, really exciting about the developers, wanting to come in. Like, I'm super excited about that part of what you said, Allison. So thank you. And because Zephyr, who's my coworker, and Katie Sunderland worked on that project. And so depending on what our staffing, where our staff is at, and overburdened, I'm sure, but I could also see if I can find out from Zephyr if there's where they got some of that information. If you guys don't already have it, I'm assuming you probably already do, but I might be able to do some of that to try, because I've seen some different things similar to that, to like thinking about as a small community, how do we represent what our housing needs are
Yes.
in a nice way.
Good.
And along with like the big piece that I don't know about is how you get all the financial stuff. And I think they pulled it from the last census.
Yeah, it says a couple things on the bottom.
Yeah.
So anyway, just wanted to share that. So thanks, Crystal. If you could get any other info on that, that'd be awesome. All right. So then again, if we're thinking about Q1, it's advertising, and getting back to Amy's question, is there anyone that wants to take on an opportunity to write something, present something? I mean, it could be, I'm, happy to assist if we're just, maybe we just do a big push on HAB. You did HAB, or you already did do a big push on HAB?
I'll just say, if anyone has any ideas, if you would just shoot me an email, it's my first and last name at Gmail. I'm just running out of ideas. I can throw
Are you
something
good though?
together.
Do you need a little break? That's just what I'm
No,
asking.
I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm good up until March 8th, and then
Okay.
I'll need to put something together.
So anyone on the screen have something that's blaring and glaring
Well,
that you think we could do?
I would like to know like what Amy, because you just said you just did it on affordable housing. And so I'm wondering kind of like, what are the highlights that you hit around that?
So, I just told a story, like a likely story of someone who was like getting priced out of town. It's a hypothetical, so to speak.
Yeah.
That kind of encompasses a lot of stuff, not just housing, but tourism, small business, stuff like that. That one was like kind of out of the box, but that was because I'm running out of things. But the first one was very much like New Year. It was very Prop 1, 2, 3, and please join the HAB. It always ends with the please join the HAB.
Yeah.
The second one was the program that we just spoke of tonight with, again, please join the HAB. I know, Nancy, you had some stuff that you were talking about with the URA a few months the last time we met in person. So just, if you guys are just, I still have a month. So if you're just like, oh, we should write about this, or I saw this in Aurora, or even would you like Xeriscape rebating? I could pull something together like that just to get feedback. But I just always, I do fine when you tell me what to
write. Awesome. Barb?
Maybe not even a narrative, but the graph that would just have Manitou information that would be similar to the graph that we just saw.
You know what I was thinking too, the same thing, Barb, but I think they just had, like, with the survey, they just had a lot of that information, and it was in the bulletin as well. So,
oh, okay. So not
but maybe we could revisit that, end of spring and bring those numbers back up, because it would have been like January since they had been published.
Yeah. Okay.
I'll write that down.
Okay. Awesome. And then something I was just thinking, Aaliyah, remember we made a logo. We have that like tree. We should be using that. Does anyone know where we could find that? Ethan, maybe you could track it down for us. We had a logo, and I know like under like we've used it before. I Googled it actually, and it was attached to some kind of energy thing. But that I think could be good to add on those articles if it's coming from HAB.
Yeah, I'll dig through our e-files for HAB and see if I can find anything.
Okay.
/ maybe check in with our comms human Mitchell and see if he has anything in any of his files in that transition.
Awesome.
I'll see if I can find anything.
Thank you.
I'm pretty
kind of jumping in. Oh,
I'm pretty sure I have it.
Okay, Leah. Awesome.
Logo.
That made me think of when I was looking for the strat plan that we created with the chart of quarterly tasks. It popped, I saw the logo on the last strat plan that's uploaded. And so I was just wondering, would it be possible to, like, I get Michael is updating it. Sorry, my computer just said it's dying. So, but like, could we put our strat plan and the, I don't know, like the chart of all of our tasks up on there so that there's a place where we can all go at least review what we need to do, even if it's not updated? Or is that too much information online?
I know we had talked about, like, again, with the public rules around communication, what could we do to have some kind of platform? You know, like Crystal, you and I are on that board, and they have that like campfire based like where everyone can go, but that might just have to be a tabled conversation again to think about where we can all have a placeholder of information and be able to access it, whether it's website or something. So
yeah, it's just really hard because I want to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do, but I have no idea what it is.
I know. We'll make sure we send it out again when we get all the packet put together, and I'll be better. Again, I fell off the train again this month, but we'll get back on.
By the way, I found the logo in our very well organized Hab Gmail that, don't worry, only I have access to. Or prior, back in the day, it was something that was shared, but now it's not shared. But anyways, we do have Manitou Hab Gmail if in the future it is ever possible to use that in a public way.
Got it. Thank you.
Aaliyah, if you send that to me, I'll get it to Rhonda with the next publication.
The logo?
Okay. Thanks all on that. All right, so we're coming along to the end of our meeting. I can see people are getting weary, so let's finish up. I think the Q1, I think, again, I gave a little report, and I feel confident that we're trucking along as we should. And I guess, who is it now? It is either, is it council liaison? I've lost my agenda.
Yes.
Okay. Go for it, Nancy.
Okay. I actually had a couple of questions first. Did Fallon Miller, who briefed last month from the housing development specialist, did she ever send those fact sheets that we had talked about last month? She was going to. I think it would be helpful if someone might call her and ask her for them, because I think that they would be very useful to Amy as well, if we could get them.
Okay, I'll call her.
Secondly, just some my Q1 stuff. I did drop off, I don't know which developer you talked with, Allison, but I did drop off Fallon's card and background with the Johnsons, who are developing Cheyenne Village, to please call Fallon, because she just had such great, so many programs, and she was very willing to help. So hopefully they will follow up on that, and we'll see. And then I have made contact with both the HPC and the URA to meet with you guys.
Okay.
HPC, Doug Edmondson is very interested in being something of an HPC liaison, but he's no longer chair. Susan Presti is, so I haven't been able to get in touch with Susan yet to see if she wants Doug to do that function or not. So more to follow on that. In terms of updates, I think we reported that we have a new public information officer, Mitchell. If you don't know, Alex, as you know, is gone. So Mitchell, I can't think of his last name, is
Harder.
Thank you. He is on board and cranking out stuff already. The Dillon Motel is coming down, and several of the larger administrative buildings, two of them I think will remain, 2 or 3 of them will remain. One of them, one of the council members suggested that we convert the upstairs apartments anyway to potentially housing. I will tell you that that is just one person's suggestion. I know that there's other council members who are very uncomfortable with that thought. But anyway, just an interesting thing that you guys might be interested in. I think I mentioned that staff put in a grant for $3 million or $1.5 million. I can't remember which it is now. The total amount I think is $3 million, and we get 50%. Anyway, a grant for new water meters for the city that would be much really help improve water efficiency. We did hire a new city clerk as of today, and that's Elena Krebs, who has been our deputy city clerk. So please welcome her on board if you see her. And I don't want to overlap anything with Hannah, so I will not address Plan Manitou. I will let Hannah do that, and I don't know whatever news she might have for you guys. So unless we've done a whole lot of other stuff, but those are the things that are more pertinent to you guys. So unless there are any questions for me, Hannah's up next. Or Ethan, whoever staff liaison report.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Nancy. Hannah, you're up.
All right. So thanks, Nancy, for bringing up Plan Manitou. So that project is formally kicked off. We are working on it. Yesterday, we had a series of meetings with staff and department heads on who are kind of in charge of some of our hot topic areas. And those meetings were very productive and showed that a lot of progress has been made. And I should have pulled this up, so I apologize, but I do want to share a few numbers with you. So I had put together a 2023 progress report of all the actions that had happened since Plan Manitou was adopted through the end of 2023. And really what it shows is really just shows the dedication of staff and the public and our boards and commissions in, whether they know it or not, implementing that plan. And sorry, I'm just trying to, here it is. So in Plan Manitou, there were 103 priority actions. And the idea was that those were the city's top priorities with an ideal horizon of being implemented within 3 to 5 years of the plan's adoption. And of those 103 actions, 57 are formally completed, as in they're done, implemented, we're moving on. 27 of those are ongoing, so they don't really have like a specific end date, and only 19 are incomplete. Based on my professional experience, those are incredible numbers, especially for a city of Manitou's size and for a staff of our size. It really shows the dedication to getting a lot of those really big projects done. And it wasn't like 103 small projects. They were pretty big. And so even our consultants who do work all over the country were impressed by those numbers. And additionally, in Plan Manitou, there's an appendix that is dedicated to long-term actions. So items that have a 10 to 20-year horizon. There's about 25 pages of them. And of those 25 pages, we've already completed 28 projects, and we have started 21 more. So I would say we're like ahead of schedule in actually implementing Plan Manitou. I know that it's kind of a plan that's in the background. It's the city's comprehensive plan. And I guess I've already said it, but it shows that the city does get a lot done. And so what we're planning on doing is taking those actions, and also, as times change and demographics and trends change, we need to alter maybe some of those longer term actions with new ideas or new demographic information. So in order to do that, we're setting up working groups, and those work groups are not to take the place of a review by the Housing Advisory Board or City Planning Commission or HPC or any of our other boards, but would just be more of a intimate working relationship where we're bouncing ideas. The plan right now is to take in applications from the public they list what topic areas they're interested in, and then they get assigned essentially to a group by the city council. So I'm working on getting that information blast out. And so you'll see that, and I'll make sure all our boards are aware, so that if you're interested in participating in one of those groups, definitely apply. But that doesn't necessarily mean that we wouldn't also be bringing Plan Manitou to the hat for, you know, review, consideration, things like that. So that's where Plan Manitou is. We do have a couple of staff announcements. The first is that I actually have put in my notice and my last day is actually next Friday, so March 1st. And I get so appreciated working for the city of Manitou Springs. This has been an incredible learning opportunity, and I'm really excited for where the city's going. And I have full confidence in the current planning department to make sure everything keeps moving forward. Also, Chelsea is officially, as of tonight, on maternity leave. Woo! So we're really excited for her to enter this new phase of life. And so right now she's targeting being back beginning of May, but that might change depending on, you know, how things are going. But I just wanted to make sure you guys knew that too. And with that, I'm happy to take any questions, or if you guys have questions on any of our projects.
Hannah, you have been such a gift to us and will be
you.
so missed. And I didn't mention, but the person that I spoke to also gave high regard to you and said how much information you gave, and he could tell how well oiled the city was. So I hope, again, I think you put a lot of things in place where I'm hopeful that the person that, you know, comes into that position will enter the city in a much healthier space too. So you will be missed on
I
our
appreciate that. Thank you.
tab for sure.
Yeah, it's it's a little bit of relief because now I've told everybody. But every time I've had to say it, I do get a little misty. So yeah, I appreciate that. And I am excited for this potential developer. And the only reason we're being coy is we don't want to influence Nancy, any of your or Counselor Fortune, any of your prejudgment. But yeah, I think it'll be a cool project. So
yeah. So thank you on that. And I guess that's why Ethan's going to be would that be next? Ethan will be our staff.
Yeah. Ethan came from the city of Colorado Springs. I'm not sure if he did a formal intro that first meeting he was at, but Ethan enjoys steering committee type meetings and working with the public. And I think this is a great match. And so, yeah, Ethan will be the housing board liaison.
Awesome.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. Thank you for having me. Yes, this is something, it's new to be on this side as kind of a staff liaison for me, but I've always really loved governance and boards and steering committees and things like that, and prior jobs and in university. So I'm excited to experience it in this frame. And I also really love community and community engagement. And so I'm excited to work with y'all. Definitely new at it, so bear with me. I'll definitely ask questions and ask for help on things that I may need as well. But I'm here to help support y'all.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, all right. Well, on that note, no.
So did Chelsea have her baby?
Not yet. She's due on Monday though, so it could be any point.
Yeah.
Cool. And a side note, but we'll get connected to get something anyway. Awesome. All right, board members, anything else that needed to be shared before we adjourn? All right, I think we got some good actions. I have lots of notes, so I'll work on getting those sent to Ethan and some of the other things that I shared. So thank you all for your time and your patience. Crystal's computer probably died, so stay well, and we will connect and talk soon. Meeting adjourned 7:34 p.m.
Good night,
Bye,
y'all.
everyone.
Great.
Thanks again.
Have a good one.
Thanks, Aaliyah.
Best of luck, Hannah.
Yeah, Hannah. Bye.
Bye.